first chapter in my new book, Life Lessons from a Parasite, is about a scientist who spends 10 years learning that first life lesson, and that is that nature doesn't care what you believe. I used to call that, when I was working on this book, I called that the Ron DeSantis Principle, but now I'm calling it the RFKJr Principle. Nature doesn't care what you believe. The scientists in this book learned that the hard way by spending 10 years trying to figure out how some Oklahoma fish got worms in its ovary. So here's some of the story. Lake Texoma is a very large and highly branched lake down on the border between Oklahoma and Texas, made by damming of the Red River. For 10 years, Dr. J.T. Self, shown here fixing a net, spent his professional career trying to figure out how buffalo fish got worms in the ovaries, going out in the lake, setting nets, collecting hundreds of these large fish, dissecting them. And here are some of his field notes, some of his original field notes from the 1950s. And what did he discover? And what did he try to do? He discovered that these fish had worms in their ovaries, worms that looked like this. And he finally figured out that those were actually flukes, and they were very long and full of parasite eggs, thousands of them, that got released into the environment when these fish spawned. So how in the hell did they get there? How did those worms get there? Well, the classical interpretation of fluke life cycles is that they need snails to go through as a first intermediate host. And so J.T. Self and graduate students and fellow scientists spent 10 years trying to figure this out, trying to infect every conceivable kind of snail that they could find, not only in Lake Texoma, in all the streams that fed into it, but all through southern Oklahoma. They tried every conceivable kind of snail and could never get that infection to take. Of course, the scientist was driven by his curiosity about how something actually works in nature. But what he figured out, and what he finally learned the hard way, of course, after those 10 years, is that nature didn't care a thing about what he believed, how he believed that worm should be transmitted. Nature didn't care what he believed. And that's why I'm calling this the RFKJr Principle. Nature doesn't care what he believes about anything, about autism, about transmissible disease. It just doesn't matter. Nature will behave in the way it behaves, and it cares nothing about what he believes. There are a lot of these kinds of lessons in my new book, Life Lessons from a Parasite. So feel free to pick up your copy at your local bookstore, or just simply order it through Amazon, or go to my website. There are some links there. And study your parasitology. Those infectious ideas are moving through our population just like a virus.